Welcome to the Institute of Business Dunama Conference 2023 on the theme Innovation in Agro-Business, Unlocking the Value Chain. The agricultural sector is seen as an engine that contributes to the growth of the overall economy of Nigeria. Despite these efforts, the sector is still characterized with low yields, low level of inputs, and limited areas under cultivation due to government dependence on monocultural economy based on oil. Agriculture was the mainstay of Nigeria's economy before the discovery of crude oil from 1960 to 1969. The sector accounted for an average of 57% of the GDP and generated 64% of export earnings. The conference is of a high strategic importance as it comes at a time when Nigerian economy needs a turnaround mechanism for a productive economic system. Nigeria has the capacity to produce and export goods and services that will stimulate and build a sustainable economy. For a country which is facing an acute shortage of food production as a result of combination of growing insecurity, continual rise in the cost of moving farm produce to markets, instability in the nation's foreign exchange market, and youth restlessness, any policy or program capable of stimulating interest in agriculture will always take center stage in public discussions. The conference will provide a platform for discussions on current agribusiness value chain scenario, their activities, mode of operations, key challenges encountered, opportunities identified, and the way forward. The key questions to be discussed during the conference include: how can small businesses at the grassroots level and the challenges confronting them be properly captured in the national business database? Who are the stakeholders and what roles do they who are the stakeholders and what roles do they play in the development of sustainable agro ecosystem? How can we build synergies around the stakeholders to promote the agro-business development and stimulate international trade to attract foreign investors? How can we develop viable business groups that can compare and compete favorably with their counterparts globally? Does the present rate of the business environment in Nigeria promote sustainability? How can we create a patient back-end capital funding for agro-business? How do we guarantee the security of agro-business loan and even agro-business activities? What are the main constraints that affect agro-business in Nigeria? What priority reforms should be put in place in order to remove the major constraint to healthy and smooth business practices in Nigeria? What needs to be done to spur growth in the private sector in Nigeria? And how can we ensure mass affordability, appeal, and availability of standard goods and services? The conference has two structures. We have the plenary sessions and panel discussions. The specific objective of the conference is focused in exchange of information, networking, practical positioning, and actions. Exchange of information and take stock of approaches and action taken so as to discuss on the theme which I've just spoken of. We have sub-teams surrounding this main theme, which all key speakers will speak and enlarge on it and create opportunities for people to understand the breakdowns and how can we promote agribusiness networking in our economy. The emphasis why the institute decided to take this theme for this conference is that we have looked at several scenarios in our economy, and Nigeria, in view of their population, in view of our environment, Nigeria has a good weather, large population, and we have good human resources as well. So if Nigeria can begin to look inwards and see how can we harness and use our agro products to play a role in sustaining, at least feeding the masses, and be able to put our heads together to ensure that some of this raw material, rather than sending it out as a raw material, we can refine it, process it in Nigeria, and export it. If a particular product is processed and is exported as a finished product, it will have a higher price in terms of foreign investors or attracting foreign currency, because it will go there. If you export it as a finished product, it will have a high price, and people who buy it will use it. Unlike when we just export raw materials, it will be processed and recycled back to Nigeria, and Nigeria will buy it at a very high price without even any value. So if we begin to look inwards, to look at the resources we have, to process some of the materials, goods and services we have, products, refine them, we can still export raw materials, but do some productions as a finished product, and it will assist to attract foreign currency. It will assist to boost the value of our naira, the weight of naira. Naira, under the current dispensation, was thrown into the market as to float. And if naira floats, which means the activities of demand and supply will determine the weight. But because Nigeria is not producing, we are more or less a mono-economic system dependent on purely imported goods and services. Now our naira will continue to be weak. So when we look at agro-allied products and see some of the segment we can produce here, finish it as a finished product, export it, and look at other areas like mineral resources, I think the best thing for this economy is to begin to become a productive economy. It will assist the economy to create employment, it will help to curb security, in fact, it will provide opportunities for everybody to wear their thinking caps and be engaged in doing one thing or the other that will add value to our lives. So I want to encourage all stakeholders, the public, and people who are interested in agro-allied productions to attend the conference. Let us think together, let us partner together, let us put our thoughts together to come out with a standard a write-up, a paper write-up that we are going to produce for the authorities to study, and probably equally see whether we can use it as a working paper to come out with a standard policy for the development of our economy. Thank you. You are invited to the conference. God bless you.